Hello, welcome to Mark D Maker. My name is Mark Taylor. Today we'll be making a key hanger. I will be using just scrap wood. First I need to head out to the garage and cut these long pieces into short pieces for some little people I will be making on Etsy, for an Etsy store I'll be opening soon. Now what I'm doing here is I put in a stop there. You can see the small scrap of wood at the end that piece of wood is just resting against. Right here, that is just hot glued into place. So what that allows me to do is, without taking measurements, consistently get the same size piece. Hey, we're in production mode now. And still using that piece, no measurements, and I'm able to get a whole pile of wood. All right, now back to the key hanger. So what I'm looking through, all this scraps of wood, all this is just scraps from wood shop, from my wood shop, from other people's wood shops that, they throw stuff away. I love these small pieces of wood. You can always make projects with the small pieces of wood like this. And these are always, if there's any wood shop, there's scraps like this in the scrap pile. Now this is the smallest piece, but that is about the size that I want to make the key hanger. So what I'm doing here is I put the saw down, lock it down, and luckily that piece is right on the edge. So what I'll do is take my hot glue gun and put a little hot glue on the edge of the saw. So I'm out in my garage here, so it's cold, that saw is cold. This hot glue is going to set very quickly. I will put this scrap piece of wood right up against it, and I can feel it setting already. It's done. So I'll raise the blade up here, and now I have a consistent stop there. I'll just take the slightest little trim off of this piece, and now as I bring up the other pieces, I'll have a consistent length, no measuring. If I can make it easy, I'll make it easy. I learned this trick from Jimmy DiResta, watching his videos, and Adam Savage. They both do the same thing. They use hot glue stops. And then when I'm done, that just knocks completely off. The glue will come off onto the wood. Much easier than trying to clamp it or use some other kind of a stop. Now I'm trying to look at interesting pieces. This piece right here has an interesting knot hole on it. I want to keep that. Straight, even grain wood is boring. Try to find something that has character in it. All right, back inside. These are the tools I'll be using to put this together. You can see it's a very basic, very simple little project. Here's the drills. I already have my drill bit set aside right here. And it's about the same size as that nail. Usually you want to go with a smaller drill bit. This tool, this is a very interesting tool from the Victorian ages. It's called a birdcage awl. It's 4 or 5-sided, and it's used to make holes through thin pieces of wood, and it won't split. Those are cutting edges on it. Very interesting tool if you don't have a drill. Here's some hangers that I will be putting on the back. 2 hangers on either side. And this is the glue I use, Titebond 2. I use the Titebond 2 because it's waterproof. And this is, I got this from the just a home decorative store. And so these keys are just decorative, they're not functional. This is a board that I did out of plywood. You can see how the grains vary. I torched it and it really brought out the grain, and I used the early American stain on it. It's different. So now I'm going to start to take a look at this wood and try to get wood that is pretty even with one another. I don't need it this wide or even this wide. It could be slimmed down considerably. So I'm being pretty picky about how even it is, how it feels, what it looks like. I'll try some different variations. Looks a little heavy on the right side with all that darkness on the right side. So try to move some things around. You want to kind of back off any kind of work that you're doing, squint your eyes and take a look at the overall design or the pattern that you're coming up with. Felt there was too much weight on the right side, so trying to even out the darkness on either side by using the large dark on either side of it. And I'll still move some things around, eliminate a couple of boards. Now we're starting to look better, and I have enough spare wood now to make another one. Still trying some different variations. Now remember, even the lightest color wood, I'm going to use a stain on it, an early American stain, so it won't be quite as bright. These are going to be my crossbars, which is going to hold everything together. They're just paint paddles from Home Depot. And I'm not too worried about trying to get them straight or anything like that. It's going to have more of a rustic look once I stain it. If I would have put a clear coat on it, it would look more contemporary, and having very straight lines would be important. So your next step would be to glue them down and weight them down. I got a little ahead of myself and drilled the holes, but do yourself a favor, glue them down, let them dry for half an hour, and then come back, drill your holes, and put your nails in. Not on that glass top, you don't. Over to the workbench.
So, the holes, I went too deep, and the nails don't hold at all. Not a problem. Let me show you a trick. It's an old carpenter's trick. I was a cabinet maker at one time, or actually a helper, and I worked in a cabinet shop, and I learned this trick. So a little bit of glue on a toothpick, and you stick it down in there. Still got some glue on my hands there, right down in the hole. And we'll break this off and just drive the nail through that, and it'll hold. And this works with screws for like your kitchen cabinets or doors, hinges that feel loose, if the screw is not biting anymore, glue on the toothpick. And it may take 3 or 4 toothpicks. It may take a bunch of them. And you hammer them in, let it dry, cut it up, break it off or cut it off, and that screw will hold into that really well. Just a little trick.
All right, now the moment of truth. We're going to put some stain on this now. A little secret is do not shake your stain, especially if you're going to use polyurethane or something like that. Don't shake it. It'll introduce bubbles into it and create issues. Always stir your finish. Now you see how the stain unifies everything. It really pulls it together. Makes everything look like it belongs together. Also, this early American really adds an antique feel to it. Now you can see on the top rail there's a couple little places that the stain is not taking, just under the top rail. That is where glue squeeze out happened. And so what I'll do you can try to clean that up. It's not the easiest thing to do. So what I'll do is I'll go in with acrylic paint with a little burnt umber and touch that up. I'll thin out the burnt umber acrylic paint and just touch it in those areas that the glue is and is resisting the stain, and you'll never be able to tell. It's looking pretty good. So far on this project, I haven't spent any money at all. This has been scrap wood, a couple of paddles, and other materials I've had around the house. So what I'll do is add some small brass hooks that I do need to buy, and my project will be finished. I hope you enjoyed this project. It's a quick, little, easy project that's inexpensive. I'll see you next time.